Not like we're going to record.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors, where we keep you ahead of the curve, attracting more new patients and growing your business. Now, here's your host, Dr. D himself.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing 101 for Chiropractors. We're back with Corey from Fusion Media AI. We did a podcast before about AI and where it's going and videos and ads, and we just have to keep talking about this because there's just a lot going on. So thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me back, Dr. D.
Yeah.
It's great.
What are some pain points that you've seen with just follow-up mainly that maybe AI has resolved or done better than when we got with the lead magnets that we do? You've seen it across multiple industries about lead magnets and marketing. It's a very big thing across all major brands. But what have you found over the years? You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
What do you see that AI has come in and actually done a really good job on? And then maybe we can talk about what maybe it's not doing a good job of yet.
I would say the automation.
Okay.
And the level of automation you can have and how you don't have to rely on, someone to follow up with that automation. You can set a string of events to happen. You could tell it each time what to do, how to script that. You can base that on a certain set of data that is grounded, which means like it's only referencing your stuff and your data set, and automate, let's say, follow-up, automate text outreach, schedule reminders, and a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So the level of automation you can now have with intelligent kind of automation using AI is quite incredible.
Yeah.
So
I have to agree. Those are the things I've noticed as well. And it's only getting better. You can automate these things. Now there's things called conversational AI, which we played off for all year, about putting it in the hands of the bot to have a full conversation. You can even do this on audio if you want, which is wild. But typically in our profession, in chiropractic, it's lead magnets are typically email, and text message is the best way to really get the text message, really the best way to get a hold of them. Once they engage in there, you can actually have these conversational bots say, hey, the next step is ... And if they reply, it can get into a conversation. Do you take my insurance? Where are you located? And you can script this stuff.
Right. Yes. And so two things for your lead magnet, you can make really, really good lead magnets now. There's rather than just taking forever to put a PDF together, you could put something that's designed very well and looks great, but based on all of your notes that, someone can put together and craft and put out there that actually works. So you're able to create lead magnets for your customers or your, practices that you're advertising for, and they can come in with their data set and who they are, and you can really make some slick lead magnets that are going to convert really well.
Yep.
And also, are very on brand for that certain practice owner, but at the same time, like doesn't burden them with crazy amounts of work, or then hiring a company to create some giant thing that then they have to go give away for free. And that's going to take a while to see any return on that.
Yep.
So that's for the lead magnet that I think I could speak to a tad bit more than I had before. But for the audio side and the conversational AI and how good that's getting, you sometimes don't even know that you're having a conversation with that, an agent, so to say.
True.
So from answering up front to then even automated reach out and just say, hey, this is da-da-da-da-da. We noticed like 2 weeks ago you did this. Would you like us to schedule a follow-up or whatever it may be in your flow? And maybe you haven't even thought of that.
Most people haven't.
Do I have that even set up? Am I even, man, if I could just get that customer to come back, everything, your churn is going to go way down.
Yeah. Yeah. Put your hand up if you're listening and you have this in place. You have your ads going. You get the leads. They text, your team calls. They ghost you. And then what ends up happening? And 90% of you out there, you're going to say, that's it. We don't really follow up. This is where AI can really step into here, where you can really get into the prompts. And not only in the first few minutes when you want to contact the lead and get them to book, maybe you missed that opportunity, and then you create another prompt where a day later they re-engage into a conversation. And it all starts with a text. Hey, Mary, we saw that you signed up for our thing 24 hours ago. We're just following up again. Were we able to help you? And these are all programmed into the conversation.
Mhm.
And then again, they ghost you, but they haven't DNS, they haven't told you to stop, or email, and then you're allowed to just do it again, maybe 3 days later.
Mhm.
Hey, last chance to take advantage of our $59 offer. If you're in, you'll get this, 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 and this. Can I help you book this appointment? Or if it's easier for you, here's a link. You can book your own appointment.
Mhm.
And it's kind of non-invasive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the interaction they can have on the back end. So if they do text something back, it doesn't necessarily get sent to the front desk and then all these other things.
Right.
There can be a whole step-by-step process that leads them to wherever it is you're trying to get them,
Right.
and that end goal and that call to action, so to say.
Yeah.
So, and it can feel very personal. It
Yep.
can personalize. It can be automated to where now you're not having to, every time a patient clicks in, you're not having to go set all that up.
Yeah.
You say, hey, here's my new patient. And then
Yep.
here's that whole entire thing. Kind of like we talked last podcast about loading in a data set for a client,
Yep.
and then now we can create all those ads.
Yep.
Here's your new patient. Now this is the world within your organization and practice that is going to now do all these things.
Yes.
And that's important because, you're talking about the leads and the follow-up, but also the follow-up with the current patients
Mm-hmm.
and staying on top of reach outs to them
Yep.
and tailored newsletters to someone that's already going to your practice, not that hasn't been or maybe signed up as a lead, right?
Yep.
You got their email from a lead magnet. They haven't necessarily come in and committed, but, you don't necessarily want to send the same emails to that person that you're sending to a current client.
Yep.
Because then it's just going to feel like, oh man, I'm just going to unsubscribe. I mean, we can all talk to how many times we get that,
Right.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's true. It's not catered to them. So they're like, oh, this is just spam.
And then creating those emails, it's just the whole thing just keeps branching out.
Yes. Yes. And it was very complicated and convoluted with, something as good as MailChimp all these years where you could create your newsletter branches and all these things. This is different with AI. This is very different than the automations. Automations have been around for a long time.
Yes.
So those are tedious. You got to sit there. I have them in my practice, the 18 email sequence, the nurture sequence, this stuff, but it's not really tailored. As soon as it starts at a start date or it's triggered, then it just does its thing. I can't really customize that. AI can. You can set prompts to, if they respond to this email or if they open this email, put them down this branch and send them this information. If they don't, continue to value stack this email, and that's hard to do in the journeys and things if you've used MailChimp or these other things. And they're just cumbersome. And there's really no one to hire to do this. The people that do this are like for Microsoft and for, Philips.
Yeah.
They're working for big companies. They're not going to come do it for your small business.
But even using MailChimp, you still had to write all that content.
You had to write, that's what I'm saying.
You had to create all those
create
images. You had to give it everything.
You had to do
So
everything.
now if you give it your practice and it's called grounding. So if you ground an AI LLM, a large language model in certain data, it'll reference only that as its source of truth. So that's also the importance of having like a single source of truth for all of the data at your practice.
Got it.
Because then that's your gold safe, that's the safe with all your gold in it.
Yeah.
Data,
Yeah.
it's gold, right? So if you have all that in there, you can pull from that, you can train, you can understand and all these other opportunities.
Yeah,
So
that's right. No, it's great. And that's where I see this going, is because it's so painful. And there's no one out there. You say, as a CEO of any company, the best thing you can do is delegate. And we know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because there's no way you can wear all the hats and do the jobs. You can try, but it's not going to work. So in my journey, I've realized that being a CEO and trying to delegate is good, but sometimes the delegation, there's no one there on the other end
yeah.
that can do it well. That's the problem.
And now you're HR.
Yeah, of course. Chiropractors are going to listen to this and be like, well, listen, man, it's never going to be a true corporation. It's going to be wearing 6 hats. If I can get that down from 12, it's a win.
Yeah.
For sure. And we understand that. But I don't know if you can relate to me here, but sometimes you delegate, it's not going to get done.
You should have just done it yourself.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
if you had a front desk person that's now not getting burnt out, because you're able to have these agents and automations and kind of like the conversational AI taking the top 12 questions that are asked by everyone that calls.
Yeah.
Hey, can I move my appointment? Yeah, no problem. This is Jessica, and let me go ahead and check. Oh, yep. Dr. D is available here, here, and here. Which one you want? Oh, I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Now, Brittany at your front desk never had to do that. And she can continue to, talk with who's there or do whatever else that she needs to help with.
Yes.
And she can manage now that increased flow of traffic. You're not having to hire more.
Right.
She's not getting burnt out. So she has that support. Your practice has that extra support.
Yeah. Yes, I agree 100%. Yeah, that's really it. How can we automate that? And that's what you should be thinking about. How do we, if you have that one person that's a rock star or two people that are rock star, you can't put it all on them. And
Mhm.
they get burnt out, like you
Yeah.
said. That's the burnout. And what we can do is try and get AI tools in there that can really help your business in a strategic way, not just having the tools for fun, just because we
Mhm.
want to be into AI. We want to really have useful and productive tools. One thing I've noticed in the last few years is the amount of subscriptions that I pay per month on my credit card, and they're all apps. I'm like, well, I don't need all this crap. Like, what's going on? We're paying like 2 email services, two of this, two go high level, and they all over mesh each other with the stuff. But you're using Canva for the one image generation thing because you got comfortable with it when your other apps all do image generation stuff too.
Yeah.
And you're paying $29 here, $20 here, $20 there. It all adds up.
Well, and so with that grounded data for your practice, now you create a software stack from that based on how you want to work. So you're not having doubled and tripled up. You go in and you engineer from that level and go, okay, how can we take your work process, like your processes, and then architect them all out to be the most efficient? Where can we scale? Where's the pain points we can fix? And then what in here can we automate? And then how are we going to do that? What's it going to do?
Nice.
And then you have this whole China thing, like, which is really cool. That's a little bit more in depth as far as like really making sure your practice is set up for success, so
Yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
But if you think about it that way, and you go from like a top down leadership, but then also bottom up. So you implement and say, hey, this is how we're going to do it. But then as the front desk is using it or whoever, you're listening to that feedback and it's going back to the top, the practice owner, so to say, right?
Mhm.
So from CEO down and then, from worker up, per se.
Yep.
And that kind of implementation to where like, how you want your practice to run. So you sit down with someone like an architect, like we would sit down and we'd say, okay, and we'd map the whole thing out. And then we talk about, okay, well, what's happening here? Who's doing this? What's there? What do we want to be doing? And you just, etch all that in.
Yeah.
And then when you implement it, you just kind of then iterate from there.
Mm.
And you can do all these things on top of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's great. So yeah, that's what we need to be thinking about. And I think you nailed it with the stacking or
that's what I meant. Yeah, I should have ended with that's where then you get your software stack and you say, okay, here's everything. And now this is what you do.
Yes.
And this is the software, this is the tools, these are subscriptions.
Right.
This is how many credits you're going to use, tokens or something you use. So every time someone would call, you're going to use tokens, which is one token's approximately 7 characters in the English language. But for the conversational AI, every time that's happening, it's using tokens to make that happen and costing you money.
Right.
Through what's called API access to wherever we plug into.
Right.
So, and that varies based on how good it works, where it's running, how fast, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's how these apps make their money, is to utilize their programs is with the tokens.
Yeah.
That you pay for.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And if you've used like Opus AI or any of these video editing, that's how they work. You buy a whole bunch of tokens, it uses it for the videos, and you go from there.
Yeah. And like ChatGPT per se, you ask it a question, it's going to process the tokens, and give that back to you, whether you're on free or you're using a higher version model that you're paying for.
Right.
And then you get so many uses of, the pro model, right? And it's like, okay, you've used all your limit. You can either buy more for $100 or you got to wait till next month when your subscription renews.
Right. Yeah. That's how it's all kind of
hate
works.
that message.
Yeah, I know. I know. No, that's great. So yeah, so AI in practice is again, and the last time we spoke about, fear and how it can really, really hold you back. It's so true.
Yeah.
It comes up with everything, especially in business.
Yeah.
I mean, that fear holds you back from everything.
Limiting beliefs.
They all, sitting there. And one of the biggest ones right now with AI is like, it's going to take our jobs, or no, it's not good. Like no one wants to listen to it. A couple of things I've heard is definitely don't want an AI voice calling all my new leads or my patients. They're not going to like that.
Yeah.
Or getting into it. If they know text message is AI, they don't want to get into that. But I'm starting to believe the opposite. I'm starting to believe that the next generation, the Gen Zers, are all about that. Like if they can just go onto your website, read a little bit, book an appointment, know that they're in on Friday at 9 a.m., they really don't care about how that happened. They're mad when they come in at 9. They're like, oh, we don't have you on the books. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I did it all on your process.
Yeah.
You're telling me it's wrong and it's because it was double booked or didn't go through or something glitched or and then I'm seeing how angry, I'm looking at their emotion. I'm like, wow, you're really disappointed that the computers and AI and online booking didn't work and no human ever talked to you from point A to point B. And now you're getting mad at the humans, which is funny, but it's a representation of our business. So I understand, but it's been interesting to see that. I feel like the other people would have been like, oh yeah, you know, I didn't think it was an actual appointment. I actually didn't talk to anyone. And that's the older crowd.
Yeah.
They want to talk to someone to make sure it's real. But I think we're moving into the people will just want the easy click, book the reservation, show up
well, that's me. I mean, I don't
show up the restaurant and get the reservation.
You know, I finally had booked out it once a week, so I didn't have to keep doing it. But I was just, I hurt, you know, let me go on and book something.
Yeah.
When's it available? Let me look at my schedule. You know, that's 3-4 clicks. I'm booked with you.
Right.
I don't need to, you know, call and wait and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like, especially at Fusion Media AI, a lot of times I just leave AI out. You don't want your clients thinking an AI robot's calling them or a bot, right? You want it to sound like, you know, a Brittany or someone, or, you know, Sam's calling. Hey, how's it going today?
Yep.
You know, just noticed you had an appointment a couple weeks ago and see if you wanted to book a new one.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I've been meaning to get in. Okay. You know, we got these availabilities between, you know, who would you like to see? And it's just, think about that as far as a reach out, right? And if there's a problem, hey, you know what? Let me go ahead and transfer you so I can get you some more help.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to say.
Yeah.
You know, and it's about, so then now the technology gets good enough to where, because the big thing with conversational AI is like, there's like a slight delay.
Yes.
And so everyone's like, and it sounds amazing. You know, like even like us, we're changing all of our voices through like 11 labs and all that. Obviously it's generating that and it's not instant, but as it gets there, you know, they're not going to be able to differentiate. Yeah. You know, so they don't have to know. It's like, hey, I talked to that person on the phone. It's like, oh yeah, you know, and that's our call center or whatever. I mean, no one's ever going to ask really, right? And if there's a problem, the human in the loop. So now that knows to not just what they call hallucinate, make things up.
Yep.
You know, oh man, I don't know. Let me connect you. Just like, you know, the front desk might have to say, I got to get with the doctor about that.
Yep.
And I'll get back to you.
Yep.
But now I can just connect you to the front desk because she's not on the phone or he's not on the phone for the last 30 minutes with, you know, everything and not able to do whatever the paperwork they need to be doing up there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And then let alone following up with anyone that maybe needs to be followed up with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. So, and many doctors have these in their practices, like the app that you use for our office, you know, it's an online app. It seems automated, but it's just really a program. It's a widget. It's just SCED. Most people use that. But what tools in AI, what do you think? I like AI because it delivers what it expects from you. That, you know, that's what AI is like, especially with ChatGPT right now. It will start with an intro saying, based on what I know about you, to answer this question, I think the best thing with 3 kids at home and working in Florida is this. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? So that tailored response is not a Google inquiry in the search. It's not one of those static responses from the internet. It's really custom tailored to you. And that's where AI is going. So when we talk about conversational bots, they'll be able to answer the FAQs, but they'll also be able to get quickly into a conversation.
And especially if you're creating a single source of truth with your data for all your clients.
Yeah.
And a lot of times with HIPAA law and everything, you'll have to have like on-prem, which is on-premise hardware. So you're not sending that to a cloud. Or then you can also do like a HIPAA compliant Amazon AWS server or Google Cloud server, you know, for that. So there's always that to kind of think about. No need to kind of go way off into that. But there's certain levels. I mean, because we were even talking to practices out, and these are small doctor offices, and they're putting these little boxes from NVIDIA in the rooms, and it would record everything. And so now they don't have to take notes, and it just summarizes everything. So now the doctor doesn't have to sit and take the notes, or the nurse doesn't have to sit and take all these notes. Right. But then it's also plugging in. Now it's, again, gaining on that knowledge. It's learning from all that, but it's good. And you don't want to be scared of that because it's going to help you have a better experience. It's not going to like go sell your data to the dark web or something. I mean, it's just, I think there's a misconception there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like all the images in medicine that we've been putting into the systems. Like let's take x-rays or MRIs.
Right.
The AI is reading the x-rays better than the
and
radiologist.
Good things that you as a human should be happy. Like, oh, I mean, I would have had cancer in 2 years.
100%.
It's great.
If they miss something on my CT and I put it in Grok and it's like, hey, you probably want to get that spot of calcium checked and it's a tumor. I'm like, well, you know, Grok caught it.
Think about, oh, I don't want that looking at my x-rays. That's just scary.
Right.
And now you have cancer 2 years later.
Yeah, 100%.
What's more scary?
It's a great example of how if AI is doing something better, I want to use that tool.
Right. Use the tool.
I'm not going to replace the DAC bar or the
Yeah.
radiologist, but I definitely want their eyes on it if it only takes a few seconds.
Right.
Yeah, what a great tool.
So
Very cool tool. So these are the things we're talking about with how AI can really transform your practice. So for strategical things in your office, definitely a text messaging conversation is going to be a useful tool almost every chiropractic office can use if you're running any type of advertising, which many people are doing. Another one would be booking the appointment links and having them, synced or understanding what's happening with your EHR system. I like to keep these things a little separate because of HIPAA. I don't want them going into any portals. I don't want them to go into anything official. So that way the booking links are just kind of penciled in. That way you're not too worried about the information there. But if you're gonna go through this, the conversational, we got to think about HIPAA a little bit. We don't want to be asking pain points or where does it hurt or anything like that. The conversations to get them to book an appointment or a consult with the doctor to talk more.
And that's a huge thing, especially between the compliance and the security, to make sure you're not unknowingly opening some sort of data breach or these other things, so whoever you work with, make sure that, that is abundantly clear with what they're doing and they have solutions for that and talk to that.
Right.
But, separating it and being mindful of, I can call a patient and ask if they'd like to rebook because it's been 2 weeks. But if they say, my neck's been killing me and I want to talk to the doctor about it, say, okay, the doctor's available at this time. With your standard automated call system, it can't do that.
No.
Because now the agent can go, hey, let me check the calendar. It looks at the calendar because it's connected to your calendar.
Right.
If someone had just booked a minute ago, it knows you're not available anymore. It's really neat if you think about how it all interconnects when you set the whole stack up.
Yeah.
And again, you do that so you can secure it, make sure it's compliant.
Yeah.
And you always want to architect that from the beginning.
Yes.
And then there's easy ways to just set this in, like you're saying, get the automated chat going, start looking at a call agent, making sure you're doing your follow-ups. Or if it's just even something that's telling you what to do and saying, hey, it's been 2 weeks, might as well so let's say now your office assistant has an assistant and it's okay, here's the 5 people you need to reach out to today.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of way you can engineer these systems and automations to help your practice and, reduce burnout and help. Because what are you doing? You're trying to get more leads. You're trying to get more patients. Well, you're going to have less time to do all the other stuff if you have that going, right? Which is good.
Right.
But make sure that you have all that other stuff handled and you're not burning out the one person sitting at the office that you're like, oh, they can just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the possibilities are endless when it comes to this. But if we go right back to what we were talking about with marketing, step one is, the instant response is key when it comes to any type of lead. And then qualifying, this is where I was wanting to go with it. And then you talked about HIPAA, which is important. But when we qualify a lead, this is how you stop getting the ghosts. This is how you stop getting where your team's calling and no one's responding, is qualifying them. This is where a conversational AI is. And I find that 90% of people that do respond to the first conversational text from the AI, book an appointment. 90%, because they saw the first text, which is key, saying, hey, we just saw that you applied for this offer. Do you still want it? Can we help you right now? Book an appointment online. And if they respond, they're like,
they're hot.
Can I come in?
You want him now?
That's it.
They're thinking about it.
And if it's at 7:45 in the evening, well, your team's closed. You guys are all home. That's the key there where we're losing a lot of these people. And why not get into a conversation at 12:35 in the morning? Why, if they're up,
hey,
why not?
They're ready to pay you money and come and see you.
They know this is a system, whether it's AI or they don't care. And it's answering their questions.
They just want an answer and they want a book.
They
don't, as long as they care when it's not seamless.
Right.
They care when it's, hello, let me connect, you care. They care when it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
But if it's like, hey, I need to book an appointment. When can I get in?
Right.
Well, the doctor's available. This. Like, is there any time next week? Like, or hey, here's a perfect link. But if you don't want to use it, go ahead and let me know what you want to book.
Yep.
Like, just give me your name, your number, And then you can always have the office when they come in. Hey, we booked 5 appointments last night. Just go ahead. I call it, it's called human in the loop. Yep. But as you implement AI, you always want to be the human that is, the one running that, so you're in the loop and even, okay, we had these come in, they're legit. We have these bookings. Cool. Yeah. I can confirm all that.
Yeah.
And that AI is just not, random things start happening.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. So that's how we're using it there. We talked about scheduling and objections and stuff like that. And as you're training your conversational AI, we got some FUs, texted to us, sometimes they'll ask like a specific question. Do you take like Trimark insurance? And we didn't put that into the prompts.
Yep.
So the machine didn't know.
Yep.
And it gives us some weird response back
Right.
saying, what insurance? Well, can you please tell us which specific insurance you're doing? And the thing's like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, dang.
Because it actually thought it was a person.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's mad.
and it literally told them to F you. I'm like, okay, well, great.
Well,
at least my team didn't have to deal with that.
Well, it's guardrail too, so you got to know that it needs to know, and it needs to be set up to where, like, if anyone asks anything you don't know, you default to let me go ahead and get with, we've reached, like, let me get with another team member and figure that out.
Yeah.
What's that that's a team member.
Yes.
So if you think about it from that perspective, you're not even lying to them. It's just, let me get you to the doctor. Let me get, let me connect you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Let me get you to the right person that can do this.
Yep.
Or our office manager. Is it okay if we call you?
Yeah. What's the best number to reach you back?
What's the best number to reach?
We have to look into that.
Yes.
So there's guardrails you can put up rather simply.
Yeah.
That I don't think a lot of people are even thinking, when they implement that can solve some of these problems. They're not perfect for right now, but then you say, oh man, people keep asking us, let's go ahead and update that. Now that's the iteration that we talked about earlier in the podcast where, okay, let's go ahead and iterate that.
Yep.
Let's learn. The humans are learning, the AI is learning,
Yeah.
Don't just, stop paying attention and think it's going to do it all,
No.
because then your brain turns to mush.
Yeah, 100%. And we're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be there.
Yeah, we're not there. We're not even close to that yet.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to teach the AI. You always will. I think you always will.
Well, because you want to make it you.
Yeah.
It doesn't know you.
Yeah.
It can do anything. But like, you got to, say, hey, I need you to do this for me. Just like with what we're doing with your videos. I want it to look like you and sound like you and look like your practice. Well, we both do. And so I can't just say like, hey man, make this guy with a beard and, green shirt and he's a chiropractor.
Right. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
They can do it. Ain't going to be you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I think hitting these pain points. So utilizing this stuff is really where you got to go with this. So anyone that's going to help you with any type of advertising, it's going to be with AI. And if they don't, I think they're past their prime. They're past their time.
Yeah.
If they're saying, no, we don't need to use any type of conversation or we don't need to use any type of AI or automation, I think it's where you hang up and run.
And it's kind of like saying, I don't need a website.
100%.
I have a store front and people will drive by and see my sign on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a billboard and I advertise in the newspaper.
You got it. You got it. And we wanted to talk about, you said that website's AEO. That's a new thing. I've been harping about it. I've got tons of podcasts on SEO. And I just touched once very quickly for 5 minutes on AEO.
Yes.
Artificial engineering optimization. So you carry away with this. You have to be on top of this.
It's based on how the LLMs, the large language models, like ChatGPT and Gronk and your Claudes, like to consume data. So you're making it very easy for them to go find this and get everything they need. As I was re-optimizing some old blogs, I was re-optimizing a lot of my landing pages and website. It was like, this is great, but you need to add this so it has a solution. So maybe you had some open-ended things or put in like the best XYZ, because when someone says, what's the best chiropractor in Tampa, it goes and looks and you got a blog talking about, you put it somewhere where you're like saying, I'm the best, but like somehow it's worded in there where it sees that and then it explains or whatever. So not to go crazy into the optimizations that are needed, but it's definitely something that is a must do and restructuring. And it could be, so it's crazy how giving it the knowledge in a way it wants to consume it will make it easier for it to just go to you and always read it from there.
Yep.
And when people want to look at where did it pull this source, it's you. When your website and you look at the traffic, that obviously goes way up.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be optimized in these areas for these, LLMs and agents to go be able to get the data they need.
Yeah. Do you think so? People spend a lot of time search engine optimization their website, right? Do you think it's time to shift gears and make sure it's AEO optimized?
Yeah, we're doing both.
You're doing both.
So yeah, because obviously, SEO is still very relevant, and most people, if they're writing blogs and doing that, they already know, okay, I'm SEO optimizing and I'm putting the right meta tags in and so on and so forth.
Right.
what I would, what you could do is, you can go through and AEO optimize even old blog posts. You can run a prompt and say, hey, can you go through and look at AEO optimization for this blog and see like, oh yeah, this is great, but go ahead and add these points. Read what it told you to do, make sure it's what you think is, oh yeah, no, that's relevant. And that's what I'm trying to say.
You definitely read what the solution is, because it may be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it might not be you, and it may just be regurgitated from something.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you can't say, wow, that's really good. Let me change this a little bit so it sounds like me, or you didn't understand what I was trying to say, but this is good enough to get me to where I need to go.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So use those cues. So the blog area of your website can be a useful tool.
Oh yeah. That's
where you can revamp a little bit for AEO.
Well, no, you can't put a blog post on your main page. You're just going to never get any traffic or conversion from a real lead.
Right.
But, the blogs are just a gold mine.
Right.
Because it's driving traffic to your website.
Yep.
And when someone searches that, a lot of times it pulls that blog up. I mean, you search how to build a kid's bed, it's pulling up blogs.
True.
It's been doing that for a very long time.
Yes.
So that's just a secret way you can have that on your site. And we'll dump a lot of things in there that a lot of times are just to optimize. They're great reads, and we put a lot of effort into really knowledgeable content. But at the same time, it's optimized in a way to where, we stay at top on Google. When someone searches something in that topic, we'll be relevant there, and all unpaid.
Yes.
Like, I'm not, all unpaid.
Yeah. You don't have to pay for
Get the traffic without paying for it.
100%. So AEO optimization is going to get you optimized for what? What exactly is it? Where are we trying to get optimized for?
AI bots coming and reading your website and getting the answers they need.
Right.
And the best way to put it is, what's the best chiropractor in Tampa? And then ChatGPT says, Full Life Chiropractic in Lutz, Florida, and he has an office here and here. You want to go ahead and book a link? Because that's what they're doing now.
Right.
ChatGPT, Google locked everyone out and said, you know what? You can only go to 10 searches now. Yeah. There is no infinite O's.
Right.
That's because they locked the bots out of the data.
Right.
Which was like, whoa. And I was like, man, I'm really glad I'm Google certified, right? So, because that's data.
Yes.
That's theirs. So what did OpenAI do? Fine. You can do everything through OpenAI, and we'll go ahead and we'll implement actual access to the stores. So now you can say, what's the best purse? Or what's the best jacket for this? It's this right here. Do you want to buy it? Yep, I need a large. Yep, large is in stock. Where do you want to go? And it'll do it all right there. They never even go to the website.
Yeah,
GPT does.
It's true.
And so, if you think about that, if you're optimized for that, now patients are booking. You say, what's the best thing? Oh, it's this guy, and here's all his reviews, and here's what everyone says about him, and here's the things maybe they don't like, but you're like, man, this is great. Okay, can you book it? Yep, I can book it. He's available here.
Yes.
Because you've set your site up to allow GPT to do that.
Yeah, see? So I'm glad so search engine is google.com, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo.com, right? So we got to remember this. For those, if you're like me, I've been learning this stuff. AEO, so AI engine optimization, is ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Jasper, Claude.com. So these are different. They're not search engines. They are
LLMs.
LLMs,
large language models, generative AI. They're your robots that are out there.
So I want every chiropractor listening right now. You're going to pull up ChatGPT or whatever you use, the one that you use, Gemini, and you're going to put in, find the best chiropractor for me. Close by. Put it in. I just did it last week, and I didn't even show up in the damn search. I wasn't in the top 3, and it said the whole thing based on what I know about you.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't know I'm a chiropractor. It does. It definitely does. I recommend the guy across the street and 2 other ones. I was like, oh my word! And then my next prompt was like, why did you not pick Full Life Chiropractic? And it told me, oh, this is a highly valuable practice.
See, it found
me.
What did it find on the other side?
Exactly. And that's the information you want to see. So that was it. So, and it told me based on reviews, but we had the most reviews. The difference was they were reviewed across a bunch of different stuff that was accessible by AI.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Google thing is real. Having 500,000 Google reviews isn't the gold standard for AI.
Unless you're using Gemini,
right?
Google. So that's where also you want to really make sure you're, compliant on every web browser.
That was ChatGPT. I hope I said that. That's where.
Yeah. You were on GPT.
I got to try Gemini.
But I'm just saying, try it on the different ones, because if Google's using all the Google reviews,
right,
and ChatGPT, because you can't is not using the Google reviews because they've locked them out.
Right.
Literally, if you ask GPT to like go to LinkedIn and do some things to find out about someone. It says, oh, I can't, like, it'll sometimes make up stuff where you're like, are you actually reading this person's page? Like, can you access it? And it goes, no, there's a robot, like no robots.txt file. Like, I can't access LinkedIn.
Oh,
So like LinkedIn just shuts all of the LLMs out because it wants it to have its own in-house stuff to then sell that because it's data.
right.
You know, why would you let everyone have access in?
Ah,
And so it's crazy. And again, the hallucination, it might just make some stuff up about the guy and you think, okay, yeah, here's everything. But then you ask it again and it's like, oh no, I actually can't access that, you know? And sometimes it'll tell you, sometimes it won't, depending on the way you prompted it
right.
and things of that nature.
Yeah, because it's trying to please you, so it's trying to give you an answer.
Yeah.
It won't. You'll never see the first response from Gemini, or sorry, I don't know the answer to that. That would be the end of their entire platform if that was the first, right?
You could tell it to do that. Say, do not make anything up.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know,
It's all
like
about the strength of your prompt.
if you, yeah, and it's there's single shot prompt where it's like, who's the best chiropractor?
Right.
And then there's multi where it's like, you know, who's the best chiropractor in Tampa for a kid that's 10 years old?
There you go.
You
A
know,
bit more specific.
but that's why you have both blogs.
Right.
Because if you got a blog or 5 blogs, or you got something like you offer where you're getting 2 blogs a month that are AIO and SEO optimized,
Right.
and now you have 2 blogs a month, that's 24 blogs a year.
Yeah.
I mean, not only can you do more, but like, think how many blogs you got right now? How many, you know, how many of the practices are putting out even that much?
Right.
And then now, you know, that just continues to build. And that's just more stuff for these, you know, LLMs and these chatbots to go and reference,
Right.
you know?
Yes.
So it's just, you can't not think about it. Again, it's just like, I don't need a website. I got a storefront.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just like a lot of those people went out of business.
100. Yeah. You cannot do that. This is great stuff. Any closing thoughts from you about, you know, AEO or AI or how to implement it?
I mean, definitely, like you said, go explore it. You can even put your own prompts in. You know, we could probably add some somewhere, send it out in an email about like, hey, here's some prompts that you could use to do your own thing. We've been doing AI for many, many years. Even my team, we get lost in it. It gets a lot. So don't go down the rabbit holes and forget what you're actually trying to do, which is help people with your practice.
Right.
So again, like you said, delegate. It's good to be knowledgeable. It's good to understand it so you're not getting taken advantage of. You know, you're already watching things like this, so you're past that point at least.
Yeah.
But like, don't just, again, it's this new shiny thing where it's like, oh, I could just do all that by throwing this in there. Yes and no. And depending on the quality you want and the security and the protection and all these other things, like really just think that through.
Yeah. Great tip. Great
So-
tip. And it's the strength of what I learned today was the strength of your prompts. Have you ever used a prompt saying, give me the best prompt that feeds you
Yeah.
to get the best
Yep.
answer?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've tried that too. And you get this huge prompt that I would have never,
Yeah.
ever came up with.
Mhm.
And then you plug it in, you fill in the blanks, plug it in, and it gives you pretty amazing responses.
And think about it. A lot of people, you know, with the scrolling and the short, you know, attention spans this day and age, don't even think about a lot of times what they're prompting and get a lot of slop.
Yes.
So, you know, if you really think about what it is you want and you're like, hey, can I have a prompt that's going to do the ba, 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 it'll actually go through it rather than just like, hey, give me a prompt on Italy. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
I want to plan an Italian, you know, cruise with my wife for this many days at this time of year. This is my budget. This is what we like. This is what we don't like. You know, that's a lot more detailed than plan an Italian cruise trip with my wife.
100%.
Or not even, you know, mentioning her, right?
I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking if you had, you know, a few moments to sit down with someone dead or alive, Warren Buffett,
Mhm.
George Washington, what questions would you ask them? What's your favorite pie? Or would you put in a pretty lengthy prompt to get the most out of this, you know, out of this moment? So that's the same way you got to treat this is that the more you give it, the better the response.
Right.
Yeah.
And always pay attention. Be in the back end, see what it's giving you.
Yeah.
Work slop is a really big thing
Yeah.
going around right now. A lot of universities are, you know, talking about it and doing papers on it and studies because that's what's happening. You know, like someone at one place is just loading it in and shooting it over and it's just a bunch of, you got to keep thinking.
No one's thinking,
you know,
yeah.
do your
Yeah,
thing.
that's another problem. Awesome, Corey. I'm pretty sure we're gonna do more of this because you're
Yeah.
my AI guy now. This is
Love it.
great. Yeah. Thanks
Yeah.
for being on the show. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Great.
Awesome.
Man, that one.
That was great.
Glad we recorded that one. I felt like I actually got in the flow of this.
Yeah, we did it. No, it's great. Good. You hope we went over too. But let's redo that first one when you get a chance.
Yeah.
And
right now, like, that's why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, that's it.
I was gonna say, like, because like you were like, hey, I can do it tomorrow. I'm like, right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to get some sort of something
going in.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like I will get this stuff processed. You actually have what you need here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna capture this real quick.
I'm gonna see if I can get.
But like, as soon as you want to come back in here, I will just rebook, this because I.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, and leave a rating. It helps get our podcast out to more listeners. Also, join Marketing 101 for Chiropractors on Facebook or visit us at enricod.com for more information on growing and scaling your business.